Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Marissa and I am super excited to be holding space with you guys and for you guys in the ethers today. My intention for everything that I do really on the internet especially, and this channel in particular, is to help support you guys in navigating your most authentic timelines and embodying your most authentic expression, and in so doing, everything around us just morphs and the powers of the cosmos quite literally work in your favor and on your behalf to remove seemingly impossible obstacles, and this journey just becomes so much more beautiful and fun and in flow. It's always beautiful, but much more enjoyable, I should say, when you're living in alignment with your soul's blueprint. And so these are just check-ins, energetic check-ins, to see how much in or out of alignment you are, what lessons you may or may not be integrating, or that are being presented to you. And yeah, there are many different modalities and methods that I utilize to help individuals connect with their soul's blueprint and to hear the wisdom of their soul and then to actualize it. And so this is one of the methods, and I'm happy to have you guys here, whether you're new or whether you've been here for a while. Thank you for being here. These readings are about February energies, a little check-in, and two aspects to each reading that we're doing today. The first aspect we're diving into are any highlights or milestones that you may anticipate for the month of February. And then the second aspect are any areas of growth or pockets of challenge that you can anticipate. So 3 groups to choose from today. Take your time, as always, with anything, big or small. And whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to hop right into these readings. Hey, group number 1, welcome to your reading. It's so great to be sharing space with you guys today. This is all about February energies. 2 aspects to these readings. The first aspect are highlights and milestones you may expect for the month of February, as well as areas of growth and or challenge points. Okay, so you can stick around for the shuffling portion of this reading, or you can skip right to the reading by heading to the timestamps in the description box. Okay, Spirit, so we're calling upon the group, or the guides that are overseeing the group of souls drawn to this pile today. We're asking about the month of February. What are some highlights and milestones this group may expect? What's the energy of the highlights and milestones for this group, please? Okay. I'm just going to take all of those. I'm feeling a little crazy today in a good way. Highlights, milestones. Cool. And let's get some more details about this energy. Highlights and milestones, please. Group 1. Highlights, milestones, group 1. Okay. All right, now areas of growth and or challenge for this group. Okay. I'll take all of those. Guides have a lot to say. Okay, let's get into this. So, what is that? Shadow. It's gonna bother me. Here we go, okay. All right, so group number 1, milestones and highlights. Building blocks, mending. I swear in a reading I just did, which was like 2 weeks ago, had the same pairing. So interesting. And blessed. And water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. So a lot here about restoration. Let's see in regards to what? The Fool, a new beginning. Seven of Wands, Five of Swords. It almost seems like a new beginning in an area that you've visited before. I'm seeing growth. I'm seeing maturity in the month of February for you guys. It seems like something that you're working on, or something that you have been working on, or February is marked by the beginning of something that is part of your dharma, I feel. And maybe something that you were doing at one point, you were engaging with, or you're it's almost like something new, but old at the same time. This isn't your first rodeo in this arena, or this relationship, or this field or job or something. It seems like maybe at some point there was you needed to take a rest from something, or take a break, or you just went in a different direction. And it seems like you're revisiting something that is part of your dharma, and that you're very gifted at, something that kind of makes you stand out in a way as an authority figure, or something that is you're just really natural at. And I feel like part of this is your guides kind of reiterating that you've done a lot of growing during this period where you were taking a break. Getting very Saturn return kind of vibes as well. Almost like you needed to be stripped away of things that were just not serving you, or things that were just not fully in alignment with who you were becoming. And so it's you went into yourself or something. You went in, you took care of yourself. You kind of mended the fragmented parts within yourself. And maybe this was something that you walked away feeling a little bit defeated in some sense. And now you're coming back, full force is kind of what I'm getting. But yeah, I feel like this highlight is just I don't know. I feel like this time revisiting whatever this is you feel much more free, and you feel much more like yourself, and much more grounded. And I feel like overall the energy around this is very blessed, is very maybe even feeling too good to be true, or feeling wow, what did I do to deserve this? And you do deserve it. This is beautiful, but exciting also. And yeah, it feels like an opportunity to come full circle and see how much you've grown, how far you've come. And it feels like overall it's an opportunity to really see just how much you've grown and how free you've become in yourself and your expression. So next, we're going to get into challenge points and areas of growth for the month of February. We have expand. We have tension. Yeah, it's I feel like there's just might be a lot going on for you at once. For some reason, there's an adjustment. You're expanding rapidly, and you're just adjusting to the expansion is kind of what I'm getting from this. We have dignified strength. Yeah, whatever it is you're doing, I feel like, I feel like it's not, what I'm getting is that it's not necessarily challenging. The challenge point in the month of February, I feel is more about, it might just be a little bit overwhelming how quick things are moving for you in some way. I feel like things are moving rapidly in a good way. Your rapid expansion is kind of what I'm getting. And so just staying grounded with all this energy, I feel might just be something that is a little bit, it's juggling, 2 of Pentacles energy is kind of what I'm getting from this. We have Gemini, cross-pollinate. So yeah, it just seems like busy. And I feel like that just might be like the challenge might be that you were in a place of nourishment and resting, like in a lot of yin energy. And so now there's a lot of like masculine energy coming in, and you're doing more. You're like being around people more. You are, yeah, really just like, it's an opportunity to really show, not that like we do this to show people how far we've come, but I just feel like you're just really standing out as someone that is very grounded and, yeah, within your gifts and within what it is that you have to offer to the world. But yeah, I just feel like it's a lot of good at once. And so it's just like woo-saw kind of energy. It's what I'm getting. Your commitment is being tested. Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing here that I'm getting is, it's interesting. We have 7 of Wands coming up and we have commitment. I feel like, yeah, here, let me get the tarot out first before I get ahead of myself. We have, what is that? The 7 of Wands coming up again, which is really interesting. We have the King of Wands. We have the 3 of Pentacles. And we have the Fool again. This is so beautiful. Honestly, what I'm getting is, I feel like it's your commitment to self. Like, you've grown so much and you've done so much unearthing of more of your truth. And you're just honestly really in your masculine energy is what I'm getting. Whether you're female or male, I mean, you have 2 kings coming up. So I feel like you've done a lot of growing on your own. You've done a lot of repairing your nervous system maybe, or like there's something about you've taken space from this thing and you've really come into a more dignified awareness of yourself. You're much more grounded in who you are. Maybe you're a bit unstable in like your expression, or unstable, like not fully stable or secure and in like who it is you came to be. This is why I'm getting the Saturn return energy. I was also guided to the number 28, like when I was, you know, in the beginning of this reading, which is like around the time that we have our first Saturn's return. And basically it's almost like you went through like an initiatory period where you got to know yourself better and really grounded in who you are and really kind of like in your own energy. And so now I'm seeing that you're going to be around more people in some way, or there's like, you're working with people. There's a lot here about community and being around more people than maybe you're used to. And this is like a really exciting new start. I mean, we have the Fool coming up twice. It's really clear that I feel like maybe in some way there might just be a little bit of like, okay, can I really keep this up? Can I really like stay grounded in myself? Can I really stick to the practices that got me to this point? And if anything, I feel like just seeing yourself as the authority that you've known yourself to be in this time that you've taken a break from this, whatever this thing is. But, you know, it's interesting. We have the Fool coming up twice, and we have 2 Kings coming up twice, and we have the 7 of Wands coming up twice. So that is definitely something to, you know, standing your ground, being firm in who it is you came here to be, and embracing this new start and knowing it's what you deserve, knowing it's what you've been leaning towards and creating for yourself. And yeah, I just really feel like the challenge is not getting lost in it, not getting lost in like the hustle and bustle and the rapid expansion, and just like staying within your core, right? And yeah, seeing this as an opportunity for growth, like knowing that, okay, you might feel a little bit of like old things coming up, but it's time that you can create something new, or that you can notice those things be there, but they don't hold as tight of a grip around you. And that's kind of like what the journey of growth is all about. It's not like we just learn something or we get past something and we're just done. Like, that's not how lessons work on earth. It's like sometimes we have to revisit a lesson and we just see that we're not caught in it as deeply, or sometimes we revisit old terrain and we just see how much more free we are in that environment, or in that circumstance, that setting. Yeah, so I feel like it really is just maintaining a lighthearted approach and seeing that you're different you're not the same version of self as you were going in this round. You're so much more grounded. There's so much maturity here that I'm seeing, so much maturity that's happened. And maybe even in some way, this is like part of the maturity is like, you know, like admitting fault in some way, or at the very least, like not having so much pride to where you can't revisit something that really feels like it is part of your dharma, in whatever way you're revisiting this. So this is beautiful. This is a great month, a beautiful new beginning, new but not so new, and a lot of opportunities to meet with other people and to shine your light. You know, I feel like you have so much to give. You have such a beautiful aura and energy around you. I feel like, yeah, it just feels like this is where you're meant to be for sure. And yeah, just keep tuning in and know that you're exactly where you're meant to be. And this is just going to expand you even more into the version of yourself that you came here to be. And it's a lot of expansion for sure is what I'm getting with all this fire. And you got it. This is just going to catapult you even more into your dharma, even further into prosperity on every level. So I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, peace to your heart. If this was you today, go ahead and leave that butterfly down below. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up. This all helps my messages reach people that need them, beautiful souls that need them when they need them. And I hope to see you again soon. Much love. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading all about February energies. Super stoked to be here with you guys and to have you here today. There are 2 aspects to this reading today. First, we're going to dive into highlights and milestones for the month of February, as well as areas of growth or challenge that you may anticipate. So you can stick around for the shuffling portion or just head straight into the reading, calling upon the guides of those that are overseeing the souls that are drawn to this pile today. We're asking about highlights and milestones for the month of February. Energetically, what are the highlights and milestones for the month of February? Okay, anything else? I feel guided to shuffle. I'm with this. Highlights and milestones. Nope, okay. Highlights and milestones month of February, please, for group number 2. Highlights and milestones, group number 2. Anything else? Areas of challenge or growth for group number 2. Areas of growth or challenge group number 2, please. Okay. Areas of growth or challenge for group number 2. Okay. All right, so let's get into this. So highlights and milestones for group number 2, the month of February. Between worlds, pretty straightforward. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. You got the love, radiant energy, codependency, boundaries. And big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Okay, let's get the tarot. We have Ace of Cups, Queen of Swords, the Lovers, and Queen of Cups. Okay, so if this, yeah, I feel like this definitely has to do with love. I mean, two cards that I look for in like love readings, especially, are the Ace of Cups and the Lovers. I really am getting the sense that this is, in terms of the between worlds, it's like you are, and this doesn't have to completely be about love. Let me just say that first and foremost. Because overall, I'm just getting the sense that it's, your guides are bringing awareness about the month of February. A highlight is you're choosing to make a decision that I feel is based off of your intuition than it is what your logical self may be thinking or wanting. And I feel like those things would guide you in different directions. And it almost seems like part of, I feel like it's almost like you're seeing that you're breaking through thresholds, or you're breaking through a way of being that it's like you're letting barriers down. You're letting like protection mechanisms around your heart down. And I feel like you feel an energetic shift in terms of how you're showing up. And at the same time, I feel like it feels very neither here nor there, or like grounded or rooted in reality. But at the same time, it's like you're almost sensing something before it comes in, and you're being prepared for something. You might already be feeling this energy, but I'm getting this sense that it's like you feel very connected to your higher self. You feel very connected to a bigger vision. You feel very connected to your heart space. And yeah, I feel like you're calling in a counterpart, or you're, if you already have like a counterpart, you know, this could be saying that something in your dynamic is being taken to the next level. And I feel like it is because this dynamic is not like toxic. This dynamic is not rooted in the mind. This dynamic is not rooted in like just the 3D. I feel like there's something about this person, this dynamic, or this thing that's coming in that it almost feels too good to be true. But it really is true. And it is in some way tied to your higher destiny. In some way it's tied to your dharma and like why you're here, your blueprint. And I feel like you're coming across as someone that is both very like balanced and equanimous in your mind. Like you're displaying both sides of someone that is, I just noticed she's like holding someone's head. Like she just chopped someone's head off. Okay, that's pretty dope. Maybe that's a highlight for you. I don't know. Keep me posted. But I feel like it's like your mind is a servant to the intuition, which is how things should be. And I feel like you're in a big way, something is shifting. Maybe it's even like you, for a long time, you felt, I'm getting goosebumps. It felt like you were in between worlds, and now you're like shifting into this new reality that you have been solidifying through the opening of your heart, and through just here, not only creating space in your day and your psyche and your being, your field, your auric field, to receive the wisdom of the universe, but it's like you're actually taking those steps in that direction. And so I feel like you're shifting. It's like something in February is like really monumental in terms of how far you've come and how much you've grown and how much you can trust the intelligence of the universe that lies within you, because it is you. It's all there is, just different flavors, right? And forms. And so I feel like, you're kind of, this is really beautiful because you're in your divine feminine energy. But it's like balanced very well, because like we have the swords, which is a more masculine type of energy. And I am being guided back to the head chopped off, because I feel like what this symbolizes for me, and why I feel like your guides keep bringing my awareness back to this, is that as you're solidifying into this new paradigm, past versions of yourself might have sabotaged on accident in some way, or maybe intentionally even, because there was just some worthiness aspects. But I feel like you're like cutting away the heads. I'm seeing like the, you know, in Hercules, like it's like you're not allowing those things to sprout, those misperceptions, and your mind to get away from you. And I feel like if this does have to do with the dynamic, there's something here about being very open and honest and communicative about what's going on in your heart, and knowing that, yeah, I feel like there's so much here about like honest expression, and maybe that's something that you've been working on too, and you've kind of been in between worlds, because as you've been doing the work to open your heart and expressing yourself more and being more vulnerable and more open, it's like there's something about that, just the mere expressing of your authentic truth, that creates ripples, and literally your reality starts to bend and to morph and to mold in a way that is much more like articulate of your soul's blueprint, because you're expressing from the level of your blueprint. Whereas when we're not expressing from the level of our blueprint or the level of our truth, we kind of see that in our external reality as like distorted relationships and jobs, and, you know, just like things just like don't fully feel right. It feels like very bumpy. But I'm getting that you're really expressing from the heart space, and you've been doing that for some time. You've really been allowing your heart to be the guide here. And so now you're like seeing the manifestations of that, the fruit of that. But there's so much here about love. Like I would not be surprised if in some way it's like multiple areas of your life that's being affected. You're moving more towards your dharma. You're living more in coherence with your dharma. Your purpose is another way of saying that, your reason for taking birth. And then also if you do, you know, meet a counterpart, or if that area of your life just like starts to get even better, or, you know, if you already have one, or already are in a dynamic, it's just like something about your relationship and to yourself, to your dharma, and to this other person that I feel like in some way has also aided you in becoming a more like heart-centered person. They've really aided the blossoming of your heart. And so, you know, the blossoming of your heart, however you can allow it to blossom, it's going to affect every other area. And so, yeah, this is really beautiful. This is definitely, you know, whoever this is, or whoever you're meeting, or whoever you're, you know, this is increasing with, and whatever you're doing that is inspired by your heart, I feel like there's just a big reminder that this is what you're meant to do, that this is, you know, really in alignment with your highest timeline. And yeah, to not question that or anything, or to like, you know, run away from the goodness that's coming to you, because yeah, it just seems like your heart is just blown wide open the month of February. So areas of growth and challenge, potential challenge, we have expand with Sagittarius. We have tension. Interesting, these exact same cards came up in the pile before. And oh my God, and this one, your commitment is being tested. So if for whatever reason you were drawn to pile number 1 as well, I would maybe go ahead and check that out. Only if you were drawn to it as well, or if something, you know, go check it out maybe. Because this is just very uncanny, and the energies kind of do really blend and mix. It was really interesting because we had 2 kings come up in the last one, and now we have 2 queens. And so, you know, and I'm seeing the white and black here, the light and dark. And so a lot of like balance, especially if you chose both of these piles. But I think I can feel things are just moving pretty rapidly for you. And so that might create some sort of like internal dissonance, or just, you know, might be a little bit like, wow, this is a lot. This is everything that I've been asking for. Like there's a lot of too good to be true energy, but don't like let your mind be carried away by that. And in terms of your commitment is being tested, I feel like there might be some moments that cause you to maybe want to like recoil, or like some like boundaries are tested, like you're triggered or something. And it has more to do with like old things, or like old versions of self, or old energies, and less to do with what like is actually happening now. And it's like, okay, are we going to run away? Are we going to like shy away from all of this good that's being brought to us, all of this love that's, you know, been brought to our doorstep? Or are we just going to surrender and just like open to it? Like there's so much of like an expansion of the heart that I'm feeling. And that could get a little scary, especially when, you know, like you start to feel more and more vulnerable with someone as you, go deeper into the void together or deeper into truth together. It can be vulnerable being, having all parts of yourself be so seen. And it's almost vulnerable too to have them so seen and also so loved. It's like, wait, what? Like, is this real? Like, you can see all these parts and still love me, And so I feel like, it's getting really good. And I feel like you're shifting. Yeah, it actually feels like you're shifting out of things just, you doing the work energetically for some time, like at least 3 years, and into it's okay. It's starting to ground. Oh my God, get the fuck out of here. You have the Lovers again. I love these decks. Okay. So this happened in the last one too. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this is pile number 1. Please watch that one too. Especially if you're drawn to that. So this is just like reiterating everything that I said, like everything that's happening is you deserve it. What I love about this too is like this card in particular, this is Cupid and he has a blindfold on and he's just like throwing arrows, which kind of signifies how from this level, the love that we have or the dynamics we're in, the romance that we share, how it can seem kind of random and it just seems like we don't know why fully. It just like works with one person or feels right with one person in all the ways. And when we're, coming from the level of the heart and when it comes to someone else, they could check all the boxes mentally, but for some reason it just doesn't feel right. So there's a lot about using your emotional intelligence, your emotional guidance system to guide how you move even more. But yeah, your intuition is coming on so strong, my friends, and whatever person or experiences are allowing your heart to open, it's, lean into that. You can trust it. There's a lot here that you can trust it. Okay. Because I'm kind of getting that there might be some moments where you feel like a little bit unsure or you feel like you want to recoil because you just want to recoil because I feel like you're just not used to all of, the degree of goodness on every level that is coming in for you. We have the 6 of Pentacles. So I feel like it's just like knowing you deserve this good stuff that's coming in. You deserve this love. You deserve this opportunity. You deserve this expansion in all areas of your life. You deserve the peace that you've created. You deserve to finally see the manifestations coming full force. Like, I feel like you're just surfing waves right now, leading into February, and it's being reciprocated. The work you've been doing energetically is being reciprocated. The work you've been doing to keep your heart open and to not close down to life is being shown to a really big degree. Next, we have the Page of Wands. So I feel like there's just a lot of areas that are taking off in your life, and just giving yourself permission to explore those things, giving yourself permission to not get too in your head about the things that are coming up and to, utilize your heart, continue to utilize your heart to make decisions in terms of where you're going. And lastly, we have the 9 of Swords. Yeah. So exactly what I was saying, like, I feel like the biggest challenge is just not getting carried away in your head, not letting old habits and thoughts, kind of take over here. And it's all good. Like, this is exciting. I feel like you've had a lot of time to be in your own space and a lot of time to cultivate, this heart opening and, doing things that connect you to the universe. So meditating or breath work or yoga or whatever it is, there's so many different ways that bring you into the present moment and that connect you to your higher self, get you in that flow state. And so I feel like you've been doing a lot of cultivating of that. And so now it's just like coming in and being seen, and things might be feeling like they're moving really fast. But, when it's with the right people and under the right circumstances, there's no such thing as too fast. And so, if it's right, it's right, and there's no timeline. And if it's just like not right, it's just not right, no matter how much you like follow all the rules and stuff. So you deserve all of this good that's coming in and all of this expansion. And again, I feel like it's just kind of like all happening so quickly. It's almost like there was maybe some stillness for a while, and then it just started pouring in because more and more you just started trusting. You're like, oh, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to trust my heart, you know? And now you're really seeing like, wow, this is the way to go. Like, how could I have survived any other way, you know? And yeah, a beautiful testimony, and you're just a walking testimony and a walking beacon of love and a heart-centered being. And yeah, I feel like you just make sleep wakes of this beautiful energy and peace and yeah, just love. Just love everywhere you go. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, group number 2. If this was your reading today, go ahead and leave a cup below to represent this Ace of Cups. And yeah, let us know who it is. Just kidding. You don't have to. I'm nosy sometimes. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up. Leave that cup down below if there's nothing else you want to say. And I do hope to see you again soon. Much love. Hey, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. February energies. Sorry. Okay. So there's 2 aspects to these readings today. The first one are highlights and milestones that you can anticipate for the month of February. And next are areas of growth and or challenge. Okay, so you can stick around for the shuffling portion, or you can head to the description box, or just skip the chapters ahead to where the reading begins. So we're calling upon the guides of those beings that are overseeing the group of souls. We're calling upon the guides that are overseeing the group of souls drawn to pile number 3 today. What are highlights and milestones that this group can anticipate for the month of February, please? Okay. Highlights and milestones for this group. All right, let's get a little bit deeper with the tarot. More details, please. Highlights and milestones. Highlights and milestones, please. Okay. Next, we are asking areas of growth and or challenge this group might expect or might come across. Areas of growth or challenge. Okay, let's get deeper with the tarot. Areas of growth and or challenge. Okay, I don't know why I'm guided to shuffle this one so many times. I feel like there's one card in particular Spirit wants. Okay. Okay, so let's get into it. February energies for pile number 3. Highlights, milestones, unfinished symphony, cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. Very similar energies. Let's get right in with the tarot. These have very similar energies is what I meant, these 2 cards. Judgment. 9 of Wands. The High Priestess. Princess of Swords. Queen of Swords. It's interesting, when I first saw these two cards flip over together when I was shuffling, it was really clear that there was some sort of like up-leveling happening. And that's kind of reiterated with the Judgment and the Knight of Wands, honestly. I feel like there is... I feel like you guys were in a period where you felt very lost or disconnected from yourself, and maybe even like gave up hope even in like your spirituality, is what I'm hearing, or just like the direction that your life was going. And I feel like that it's almost like a dark night of the soul energy, and it was meant to like break your belief systems open. It was meant to clear space, so to speak. Like, I'm hearing it got to a point to where you didn't really know who you were anymore, or like what to believe anymore. And so the High Priestess is all about self-sourced wisdom that we gain from within. And so I feel like you went through like an initiatory period where you went in one version of self and you came out a completely new person. And so I feel like February is when you're emerging, like the butterfly from the cocoon. And it's like, okay, is that? Okay, that's a bird. I thought I saw a butterfly. But that's what it looked like to me. There's actually one right there. So funny enough, just reiterating this transformation that you're going through. And I feel like it's just been a long time coming. I feel like life really served you a hand, okay, that was maybe somewhat challenging on many different levels, but I feel like mainly spiritually and mentally, which those kind of go hand in hand. Like, our lens of perception is influenced by our thoughts and vice versa. The more tethered we are to our thoughts, the more intense our thoughts are, the more condensed our lens of perception is, or the smaller our lens of perception is, and vice versa. The more expanded our lens, the less tethered we are to our thoughts. But then when we do have them, they're of the lighter kind, you know? And so, yeah, I just feel like a big highlight is that it seems like life really brought you up to speed to where you need to be and where you ultimately want to be. And this would be a period that you're emerging from that you would look back and be like, I don't know who I'd be if I didn't experience all of that. This is something that might not even be like that could have gone on like 2 months, 2 years, you know, like depending on the individual and just how seasoned you are to this game, you know, called life, and the game of purification. But I just feel like in a big way, you're just relaxing. It's like there's like like just, it's this coming to self. It's hallelujah, raised from the dead. It's finally surrendering, finally feeling like God can come in, like these the source can come in, and I can not even pick up where I left off, but it's kind of just like, I feel like you feel brand new, like you're just like, who dis, you know? And yeah, and just the connection you have to source, and you know, the wisdom and the amount of trust I feel like you now have is really next level. And it's almost like, if I can make it through that, you know, like I can survive anything. But it just feels like you can breathe. And yeah, so maybe you already feel the energy is lightening, or maybe this is something you even go through within the month of February. You know, it's like a 2-week period of just like being cracked open and just being like thrown around, and you emerge like this. You're like, who the hell is this? Like, you skipped levels, you know? You went from the page to the queen. You went from the princess to the queen. You know, you skipped that level in between. So yeah, I just feel like you really feel like yourself in a way that you never have, and just feel so open to life and open to her wisdom. And yeah, it seems like your new life has been breathed into you, but it was very challenging, to say the least. So challenges and areas of growth, beloved, with Venus. We have Neptune with vision. We have Juno, partnership. So a lot here about love already and bigger picture thinking. Okay, just surrendering to these aspects of life. Think, interesting. We have so much swords energy coming through. Pondering, think. Let's see. Don't let pride get in your way. That's a very swordsy, like Queen of Swords type of energy too. And lastly, a new start is coming. That's for fucking sure. I mean, we already knew that. These even like give me the same vibe, you know, like these two especially, like just the stars and the purples. Yeah, let's get a little bit deeper with the tarot. We have the King of Wands. We have the Nine of Wands coming up again. This has been happening in every reading. Crazy. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Queen of Swords again. Interesting. We had the Queen of Cups and Swords come up in the last one as well. So I feel like your area of challenge, I feel like as you're coming into yourself and as you are aligning more with this higher vision, this unfinished symphony, and leaning more into your dharma, it's almost like there is, you know, just watch the tendency to think that you know where something is going. Because I feel like that's kind of maybe what brought you into this period in the first place. Again, whether it have been 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, I feel like there's something here about surrendering the head to the heart. Okay. And then from there, what you're attracting and what you're creating is just so fucking potent. And there's almost a reiteration of like the highlight being what has cracked you open. You know, this density, this darkness, this heaviness is what ultimately cracked you open and forced you to kind of relinquish your ideas of how things should go and how things should be. And so watch that, you know, in your dynamics as you are working to solidify this higher vibration, this brighter paradigm that you are creating that has opened up for you. You know, just watch that tendency to want to shut down or to think that you know how things should be, or to, you know, just like the whole pride getting in the way. I feel like in this case, it's more about how we think things should go, or the mechanisms that we fall back onto when we feel like we're getting too vulnerable with someone or too vulnerable with our life, or we're like, like when I hear pride, I think of the heart, and I think of when we start to close our heart, or when we start to build mechanisms of rigidity around it because we feel like, you know, we love something or someone so much and it kind of scares us. You know, this is just like the analogy I'm getting. We get scared, and so we start to become rigid, or start to build, like you can feel these energetic walls come up around the heart where you're starting to close it down because the mind is like getting too ahead of itself. And so I feel like you're a very articulate person, and maybe you even have a lot of Mercury energy on your side. However, I do feel that your greatest gift is living through the heart and being able to then utilize your intellect and your verbalization, etc., to express from the level of the heart. And so I feel like the greatest challenge is to lean into those things and to continue to surrender, because you were broken open, right? You were brought into this space of where it was like a lot. And so we don't want all of that to go to waste, which I genuinely don't feel like it ever would. But the emphasis here is that this has cracked you open and allowing a new beginning. I feel like on so many different levels. It's so crazy how much I'm seeing a coherency between all of these readings, because it seems like a lot of work has been done, for at least within the group of souls that are drawn to this channel. There's a lot of work that's being done on a lot of levels. And It's almost like February is this come to self moment where it's like we're entering our life and we're entering dynamics that maybe are some that might have been old, but there's a lot of newness around everything, regardless if it's like you're revisiting old terrain or what it is. But it's really an emphasis of heart over head, and to not overthink things, and to continue to remain in that humble and supple energy that is what allows our reality to be so seamlessly bridged. You know, the heart is the bridge between heaven and earth. We have 3 higher chakras above the heart and 3 lower chakras below the heart. And the heart is the bridge of those 2 things. And so there's an emphasis here of like, you needed to be cracked open. Your heart needed to be humbled. It needed to be tenderized. Okay. Because maybe there was some pride that had been creeping in. And just, again, when I think of pride, it's just protection mechanisms, thinking that we know how it should be, thinking that life doesn't have our back, you know. And so life will, any time we're trying to push or pull any part of our experience, we can expect to get kicked around, because who do you think it is? Ultimately it's you, knowing that what you want, knowing the life that you want to create, knowing what the experiences you want to have, the partnerships you want to have, the relationships you want to have, the dharma, the dharmic path you want to follow, being in love with life, living a life of purpose in all areas, right? That's higher self knows what you want. And if that's what you say you want, and higher self knows what you want, it also knows how to get you there, and it knows how to like crack you open. And it really is the heart. Okay. The heart is the bridge. And so I feel like there is a new beginning in February on all fronts, or at the very least, energetically, you feel that space is opened, and you feel yourself coming out of this point of disparity, this place of disparity, and you feel across all boards, you're like, okay, things are lightening up, and there's an understanding of recognition that it's only a matter of time before the external reality, or external reality, begins to match and mirror those internal openings. So I would just say, just be mindful of those times when you share a beautiful moment with someone, or the small things in life, or maybe even the bigger things, where it's just so clear that more and more your universe, YO universe, is bringing you evidence that the heart is the way to go. The heart is the bridge. And consistently just being aware of when you're coming from rationalization, protection, and noticing how those will steer us in 2 very different directions when our heart is put below rationality, versus when rationality is used in coherence with the heart, used in relationship or as a servant to the intuition or the emotional guidance system, the heart. But yeah, good stuff is coming in, you know, and again, releasing ideas of how we think things should be. My will to thy will. I actually heard that this morning in meditation. My will to thy will, you know, continuing to reiterate. Because that's really what the judgment represents. It's like this relinquishing of ego, and coming into more harmony with source energy streaming through us, working through us, etc. So I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart. This is very beautiful. If this was your reading today, let's go ahead and leave a little egg. Is there an egg? I think I've said that before. What else? A butterfly? No, we did that for group 1. Leave whatever. You could leave a line, a flower. That would be really beautiful. A comment would be awesome, but you know, I just like to see when these readings are landing through the emojis. Kind of show me, even if you don't want to leave a comment or anything, words. It just shows me that these are landing for you and resonating for you, and I'll keep doing them. All right, group number 3. Much love. See you soon.